officials has alliances turning on each other.
You've dug yourself in a hole. You have lied on a lot of people.
And Sebastian launches an attack on the vets.
What do you guys think about trying to get a big boy out of here?
You cannot be running your mouth like this.
Survivor's ready. Go!
Survivor, the biggest season ever, Wednesday, September 27th on CBS.
Win $1 million.
Let's do this! Yes!
Loteria Loca. Series premiere Monday, October 2nd on CBS and streaming on Paramount+.
A perfect mystery setting tonight, misty, foggy, and cloudy. I'll read the rest of our UP weather story in your full forecast. Live from downtown Marquette, it's your 19 News.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Blakely. Tonight on your WZMQ 19 News, a UP Health Department is warning people about an algae bloom developing on an Iron County lake, while health officials are cautioning people to stay away from the water. Plus, checking in with our UP state lawmakers. First up tonight, State Rep Dave Preston outlines his legislative priorities as session resumes in Lansing. And the latest developments on negotiations between auto companies and the Auto Workers Union, where things stand tonight and how close they are to a deal. Your 19 News starts now.
Live from the UP, this is WZMQ 19 News at 11.
Those clouds and drizzle continue overnight in area, and we also once again have potential for some patchy fog tonight too.
You bet, Sarah. All the things except for snow and sun at night. But yeah, we've got some clouds out there. We'll see those continue tomorrow in the morning. A gradual sunshine for our Friday, and those temperatures warming up just a little bit. Will mostly be in the 60s into the weekend there. And then those showers could return, I'm sad to say, Saturday night or Sunday morning, depending on where you are, possibly into early next week as well. Today we saw a high of about 52 degrees out at the National Weather Service. Your 7-day outlook and weekend event planners coming up.
Thank you very much, Ariane. A man suspected of lighting Michigan State Police patrol vehicles on fire in Sault Ste. Marie yesterday is under arrest after a shootout with police this afternoon. MSP says it started yesterday morning when a 39-year-old man from Florida doused patrol cars in gasoline and lit them on fire before shooting his rifle at the vehicles. Police found the man this afternoon around 1:45 on Riverside Road in Chippewa County. During a search warrant, the man opened fire on troopers. Police returned fire and injured the suspect. He was taken to My Michigan Medical Center, where he remains in custody while being treated. No police were injured and the investigation continues. MSP says the maximum charges are being sought. WZMQ will keep you updated as this story develops. New details tonight from a water test done on an Iron County lake believed to be forming a potentially harmful algal bloom. The Dickinson Iron District Health Department says preliminary results from Brule Lake a couple weeks ago came back negative, but additional samples were sent to a state lab for testing. Now, nearly 2 weeks later, the health department is still warning the public to cease all recreational activities on the lake. The director of environmental health says this is the second year in a row that blooms are being observed there.
All 4 cyanotoxins that they tested for that come out of these blooms were not detected or negative. That means that there are no cyanotoxins at the time of testing. Now, that doesn't mean that there weren't cyanotoxins there prior or even after the testing, because these blooms can turn off and on for those cyanotoxins.
There is no confirmed cause, but one suspected cause is runoff from artificial fertilizer use. The health department says there will not be any further testing unless there are new bloom sightings in that area. We're also getting new details tonight about the redevelopment plans for the former Marquette General Hospital site. Today, the City of Marquette, the NMU Foundation, and demolition company Adamo Group held a public meeting to provide updates on the estimated $166 million project. The Adamo Group is still removing asbestos, light bulbs, and other waste. Officials say up to 80 to 90% of materials are going to be repurposed or recycled.
The Michigan University Foundation's interest in this project is really focused on what's possible for beneficial reuse of the site. And we know that there's a need for housing across the spectrum. There's potential for higher density housing, single family housing, and potentially senior living was identified as another need.
The entire demolition is scheduled to be completed around January of 2024. A new extended stay hotel in Iron Mountain is holding its grand opening soon. The new 4-story Town Place Suites by Marriott sits at the corner of Stevenson Avenue and Ludington Street. The hotel has 95 rooms, 8 of which are 1-bedroom suites that offer a full-sized stove. The Marriott is currently training 13 employees and is looking to bring on a few more new hires before the official opening. The general manager says the hotel is also planning to work closely with another new local business.
Viridia Group, through Marriott, is very excited to partner with local businesses. We are looking to work with Oddfellows on providing our guests a event space that they would be able to meet in, and of course have all of the great beverages and food options that Oddfellows provides as well.
The grand opening date and ribbon cutting is expected to take place in early October. In Lansing this week, legislators made their way back to the Capitol to start regular fall session following the governor's What's Next address last week. Lawmakers are now outlining where they agree and what things they'd like to prioritize. Our Michigan Capitol correspondent Sophia Murphy spoke with the 108th State House District representative about his plans for the rest of 2023.
Representative Dave Preston is the House legislator for 6 different counties across the central UP. On the Republican side of the House, he says he's concerned the goals being set by the governor aren't attainable for the Upper Peninsula.
It's peninsula over party. I'm here for the people of the UP. We have a totally different set of stressors that we have to deal with up there.
During her What's Next address, Governor Whitmer outlined changes she'd like to see made to state permitting processes to make them move faster. But Representative Preston says those changes would take power away from local municipalities that know what's better for their communities than officials in Lansing.
Local government is much more cognizant of their neighbors, of the people within their district, of the consequences to their environment, consequences to their land values, and to the neighbors in the district.
The governor also outlined a 100% clean energy standard for the state of Michigan.
We can protect our natural resources and produce energy cheaper. We can bring supply chains home and lower costs for families.
But Representative Preston says the infrastructure for clean energy needs more work than could be accomplished before the governor's goal of 2035. And things like electric cars and public transit are unrealistic in the UP.
You know, the batteries, EV vehicles, EV buses, they don't work in the UP. We have bus routes that are incredibly long, and I really don't think it's a pragmatic plan going forward.
Representative Preston says he'd like to see more investments put into rural communities to fund local roads and make changes that would have an impact in the UP. From the Capitol, Sophia Murphy, WZMQ 19 News.
WZMQ will be talking with the rest of the UP's state legislators to hear more about what they are prioritizing moving forward as well. Meanwhile, Delta County is seeking state funding to purchase new equipment for early voting. After a ballot proposal passed last year, each city and township precinct is required to offer 9 days of early voting for state and federal elections. City and township clerks are working together to select 2 precincts that will host early voting at one Delta County location. The cost of the needed equipment is $25,000, so the Delta County clerk is applying for a grant through the state.
That it covers the cost of the equipment, and there's about an $8,000 cost for workers for that 9 days, and we're hoping that it may cover some of that also.
The 2024 presidential primary will be the first opportunity for that 9-day early voting. WZMQ will follow this story as a precinct in Delta County is chosen. Fast-moving developments in UAW contract talks. General Motors presenting its counteroffer this morning. The union is in a back and forth with Ford over their counteroffer, and Stellantis is preparing theirs. So with a week to go before the current contract expires, Stellantis workers held a rally this afternoon at the Trenton engine plant. Andres Gutierrez has the latest.
So 46% is the key number here. That's how much the union is asking for in a wage increase over 4 years. Ford has countered at 9%. GM said today they'll give them 10. Those numbers are far apart, and Stellantis hasn't even presented a number just yet. With a week to go before these auto workers possibly shut down the assembly lines, talks are heating up.
It's a whole new ball game. I mean, we're talking all three of us are going out, you know, and we're ready. We are completely 100% ready.
Stellantis is now the only company that hasn't come forth with a counteroffer.
We've went through recessions, we went through bankruptcies with this company, and they've taken and we've never gotten anything back.
This morning, UAW leadership met with GM at the RenCen for 30 minutes. The automaker's counteroffer includes giving workers a 10% wage hike and bonuses to address inflation.
We understand that this is a negotiating process, and we are prepared to work long and hard to finalize an agreement.
In a statement, UAW President Shawn Fain called GM's counteroffer insulting and said in part, GM either doesn't care or isn't listening when we say we need economic justice at GM by 11:59 p.m. on September 14th. The clock is ticking. Stop wasting our members' times. Tick-tock. Meanwhile, Ford highlighted today that about 8,000 union workers are receiving a pay bump of $9,000 a year stemming from their 2019 contract.
What they're doing is just fulfilling the obligation that they made, which is consistent with their policy of getting as many people as possible to the top level.
In an interview with Bloomberg, Governor Gretchen Whitmer said it was unclear what more the state can do, saying, quote, I'm talking with the leadership of the Big Three as well as the leadership of the UAW, hoping that they stay at the table and come up with an agreement that supports workers and averts a strike.
And they've got a lot of territory to cover, and it's going to be difficult to make that ground up by September the 14th.
That business professor went on to say that all of this has been playing out in the media and that if negotiations are going well, it is likely that we won't hear from both sides for a while.
Your first warning weather forecast is coming up after this break. Plus, the Marquette County Elementary School gets a big donation for all of its teachers, who's helping fill classrooms with supplies. And the leaves are already changing in parts of central Wisconsin. An expert explains why the early transition this year. We're back in 2 minutes.
19 News is brought to you by Kirkish Furniture.
Sleep better with a new mattress from Kirkish Furniture. We proudly feature made in the Midwest Restonic mattresses. Try one out today and compare other major brands. Let our sleep specialists help you find the bed of your dreams at Kirkish Furniture.
Fall for cash and free play wins with the $32,000 autumn giveaway at Ojibwa Casinos. You've got the chance to pick your prize from the apple tree every Friday and Saturday from noon to 8 p.m. Hear your name and you'll reach for an apple, revealing between $150 free play and $1,000 cash. Now that's a juicy prize. $32,000 is ripe for the picking. Come claim your share with the autumn giveaway, only at Ojibwa Casinos, Baraga, and Marquette.
19 News was recently honored with the 2022 Best Newscast Award from the Michigan Association of Broadcasters. It motivates us to work even harder to be your voice in the community. 19 News is all about sharing local activities and events, plus information that leads to understanding, support, and unity. That's the mission of the 19 News team, and we thank you for watching.
19 News, connected to our community. Weeknights on WZMQ 19.
If you served, we want you to get the health care and benefits you earned. We want you to come to VA.
There's never been a better time to apply. Under a new law called the PACT Act, we've expanded VA care and benefits to millions of people who served and their survivors.
No matter where you served or how long you served, check out va.gov/PACT to learn more about what VA can do for you and your family.
Come to VA.
Watch WZMQ 19 News wherever you are, whenever you're ready. Subscribe to the 19 News channel on YouTube. Now, WZMQ 19 News First Warning Weather with Ariane Stasic.
Whoa, buddy, it is a little bit chilly out there. Take a look. We've got some 40s, Ironwood, Houghton, and Marquette in those upper 40s right now. Everybody else a little bit warmer in the 50s, but it is chilly out there. Taking a look at our comfort index, comfy zones, our ideal range is right about here, but we are going to be cool and dry into our Friday afternoon and evening as well. I'll take that over the mugginess and humidity that we've been dealing with this summer. Taking a look at the next 3 days, we'll expect fall-like sunshine, so we'll start with some cloudy skies before things clear out. Those temperatures about 55 to 70. The evening, though, check it out, mid-30s are possible. And then on Saturday, warmer temperatures for the day there. Mostly sunny skies. We could even be up to about 75. But we'll expect some fog this evening into, or as well as our Friday night. Make sure you're slowing down, giving extra space, and using those low beams or fog lights if you have a fancy car. So please drive safe. Taking a look at our precipitation on the radar, we have been fairly dry. A little bit of a Death Star hanging out over Canada there, but other than that, we are nice and dry here. We could see some sprinkles, though, returning this weekend, probably Saturday night or Sunday morning. Taking a look at those clouds, eventually clearing out in the morning. We'll see more clouds down south there in the early hours around 7, 8 o'clock in the morning, and then things eventually mostly clear skies after about 5 p.m. Some clouds moving in on our Saturday morning, and then we'll see some showers push in around 4 p.m. Eastern time in Gogebic as well as Ontonagon counties, making their way eastward. We'll see it in the central area around 10, 11 o'clock in the evening, but not a whole torrential downpour. Tonight, our lows in that 45, 40 degree to 50 degree range, so it's a little bit chilly out there. And then we've got the Great Lakes Logging Expo going on in Escanaba Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're looking at, like we just saw, mostly sunny skies eventually on that Friday, and mostly sunny definitely on Saturday with temperatures in the mid-60s. Taking a look at our highs tomorrow, like I said, in that 60 degree range, a little bit warmer down in Iron Mountain with a high of 68. So if you're looking for that kind of temperature, head that way if you don't live there. Art on the Mountain is also going on this weekend at the Marquette Mountain Resort here in Marquette. All kinds of fun activities like disc golf as well. And we could see some fog, though, on that Saturday morning. 68 is the expected high, and then we'll cool down a little bit on our Sunday. The rest of our week for the 7-day in Marquette, take a look. Those showers possibly returning on Monday and likely to return on Tuesday.
Thank you very much, Ariane. Across north central Wisconsin, leaves have already begun to change from green into red, orange, yellow, and a little bit of brown, and earlier than previous years. The primary factor behind the unusually early transformation in the region is a persistent drought. Sloan Wick talked with the experts to find out why there's a connection.
Another reason leaves can change color is if the plant doesn't have the energy to support them, or is water stressed, as often happens. What will happen is it'll kind of shut off those leaves, and so by shutting them off, it pulls all the energy out of them, they change color, they fall off the tree.
While the changing of colors may be beautiful, it's also unusual.
There's always a few trees that might have a little splotch here or there, some reds and yellows, oranges, but typically for a little more expansion of the fall colors, we'd have to wait until at least closer to the actual start of fall on the calendar.
As we get further into September, the leaves will likely only continue to change and fall, potentially leaving us with fully red or yellow trees earlier than normal.
It's the reason the leaves start changing colors because they're losing that daylight. We're not quite to 12 hours yet. That's going to happen closer to the start of fall, but as we get the cooler mornings, that kind of gets the spark going, so to speak.
As we get into colder nights, the chlorophyll inside the leaf that gives it its green color starts to break down and reveals the yellow and red underneath. And yellow and red isn't where the effects of the drought stop.
Having them be water stressed or too dry going into winter also can mean that they're not able to handle a really, really cold snap as well. So there could be some tree death just depending on how the weather is going to work out.
It's likely the drought will affect some stressed trees in the coming years.
It's just another effect of climate change that we've been seeing. And I don't think that's going to change in the future. And so both the plants and ourselves will have to adapt to these changing weather conditions.
Heading back to school, some local businesses offer donations, supplies, and other things that teachers might need in the classroom. WZMQ's Mitchell Reif visited a school today that just got a big donation from a local car dealership.
The Fox Marquette Subaru dealership has a yearly program called Adopt a Classroom, choosing a UP school to donate to. The annual program has chosen Birchview Elementary as its recipient. Give 15 teachers $500, totaling $7,500 for the school and classroom supplies.
We try to plan the year prior we're going to need for the following year. Sometimes things change. We get more students or less students. Enrollments change all the time.
This year, Birchview Elementary's enrollment is at around 250 students, and the principal says that even though there are always going to be supplies they could use, having local businesses lend an extra hand helps to ease the stress around the start of school.
There are always things that are changing that are going to affect the materials that we need, and the fact that money comes in like this on donations or even supplies, if other businesses are donating supplies, it really helps bridge the gap of what we have to what we need in order to make our students successful.
Birchview also has a good behavior incentive program called a Power Permit, which the school hopes the donation will help promote. The Power Permit, which is in partnership with local businesses in the community, gives students prizes for integrity, positive behavior, and anything else that represents the Hamatite power.
And they can go out into the community and, they might get a free pizza or a free game of bowling. It helps knock the four walls of the school down to bust out into the community.
Birchview Elementary just started its school year last week and notes that with the local partnerships, the students gain a better relationship with the UP community. Mitchell Reif, WZMQ 19 News, Ishpeming.
In Escanaba this weekend, the 77th annual Great Lakes Logging and Heavy Equipment Expo began today at the UP State Fairgrounds. Vendors representing brands from all around the globe have wood processors, log splitters, and other logging equipment on display throughout the fairgrounds. Companies like Komatsu work with manufacturers in the Great Lakes region. They say their equipment is part of sustainable forest management efforts in Brazil, Australia, and of course here in North America.
We really look to explore products from the tree planting phase all the way through the final felling of timber in the woods. So we're part of the whole forestry cycle, and we see it as a sustainable initiative for really the globe.
Friday and Saturday, Komatsu will host a forwarder competition, and other vendors will conduct product demonstrations. For more information about the Logging Expo, just head to WZMQ19.com. Still ahead tonight, after a popular Door County, Wisconsin resort is heavily damaged in a fire, how the owner is hoping to rebuild. That story is next.
Tonight, Bono takes the Colbert Questionnaire, and from Ghost's Rose McIver.
At the end of the interview, we find out I was dead all along.
Tonight on CBS.
100 shows is a pretty big milestone. Let's celebrate, y'all. And we're celebrating in a big way. Mr. John Legend is here. And of course, he's gonna sing something for us.
The Jennifer Hudson Show, tomorrow at 5 on WZMQ TV CBS, followed by 19 News at 6.
This is home, it's where we get along. This is home, and together we're strong. Oh, this is home. This is home, it's our town, it's our song. This is home, this is where we belong. This is home. Yeah. This is home.
In a world of super dull son-in-laws and devious daughters,
I'm a bona fide superhero.
I know where she's coming from. I spent my whole life being
riveting. Only Plaid Man gets the final word.
Where'd he go? Oh, that's his superpower. He can escape conversations in a single bound.
Last man standing.
You're watching the award-winning WZMQ 19 News, live and local with Sarah Blakely.
A fire on Tuesday devastated Rowley's Bay Resort in Ellison Bay, Wisconsin, just across the water from Menominee County. The owner, who's been with the Door County Resort for decades, was devastated. Katie Ammerheim shares how the owner is hoping to rebuild and how the community is giving her the support.
Well, sad. I mean, my family's been here since 1970. I was a little girl when we came. I was 8 years old.
Joel Peterson Arodnik, owner of Rowley's Bay Resort in Ellison Bay, was devastated when part of the resort burned down in a fire Tuesday. While the cause of the fire is currently unknown, she says it started in the basement and took out rooms and the bakery. Despite the loss, Arodnik, who chose not to show her face on camera, says she's staying optimistic.
It's one day at a time. We really don't know. I mean, right now we just need to get with the professionals to help us making plans for building again.
The people who have booked reservations at the resort will receive refunds, and Destination Door County is helping some folks find another place to stay.
As we get into the busy fall season here in Door County, trying to pick up those reservations for folks that had plans to stay there. And so we'll kind of see how that shakes out.
As for Rowley's Bay staff, some are staying while others are looking to find somewhere else to work.
Employees in general, we've been looking to for jobs for them as well. We do have some that we're going to keep on board because there's so much we need to do now.
Even though it will take time to rebuild what was lost. Arodnik says she appreciates everyone who has come to rally around the business.
Grateful for our community. Door County is a great place to live and work and have our businesses. It makes you realize once you go through something like this, how much your community really supports you.
Arodnik says she hopes to have the resort back up and running by spring.
In health news tonight, popular type 2 diabetes drugs like Wegovy and Ozempic may help in treating type 1 diabetes as well. In a very small study, 7 out of 10 newly diagnosed patients given a semaglutide required little or no mealtime insulin within 6 months. Researchers from the University of Buffalo say it's the most dramatic change in treating type 1 diabetes since the discovery of insulin back in 1921, but they also stress a larger study is needed over a longer period of time. It's Life Insurance Awareness Month, and while the topic can sometimes be emotional for families, Jill Schlesinger says it's a cornerstone of financial planning.
To determine if you need life insurance, ask yourself this question. If I were to die now, would anyone endure a financial hardship? If the answer is yes, figure out how much coverage to buy using an online calculator. You'll want to purchase a policy that will cover your loved one's living expenses. And if you're the primary caretaker for your kids or adult parents, factor in the additional cost of care for them too. If you're a single parent or the primary wage earner, you may want to set aside additional cash to pay off debts. And if you want to pre-fund college or provide for future retirement needs of your surviving spouse, don't forget to add that in too. Then you have to decide between either a term life or permanent life insurance policy. Term life is often more affordable, but the coverage is only in force for a set number of years and expires when the term is up. Permanent life insurance is much more expensive than term because it covers you for your entire life. The policy can build value over time, and you may be able to access the funds while you're still living. Or it could be a benefit to loved ones when you pass away. In New York, I'm Jill Schlesinger.
Mike, that drizzle continues for a little while longer tonight, and tomorrow is looking pleasant and a little bit sunnier. Ariane has the outlook on the way next.
Shop our huge selection of Amish crafted dining room sets at Kirkish Furniture in Houghton. Browse our large in-stock collection and customize with a special order with 1-year no-interest financing available, plus free delivery. Shop Kirkish Furniture today.
When the sun's out.
Things that get us excited?
Sunscreen.
Who gets excited about sunscreen? Give me that sunscreen! Woo!
The fun's out.
Oh, give me that SPF 30, SPF 50, SPF 70!
On
Pictionary. Pictionary, weekdays at 7 on WZMQ CBS.
We had an MRI.
As soon as they came up, I just started crying and I was like, that is a huge tumor.
Bryce was diagnosed with a rare brain tumor at just 9 months old. A treatment that can beat his cancer doesn't exist. At Children's Cancer Research Fund, our goal is to change that.
This could be the day that somebody can tell a family, your child doesn't have to die of this disease.
We must do better for kids fighting cancer. Join the fight at childrenscancer.org.
Unlike other health concerns, mental illness is not always easy to see.
D-E-P-R.
Mental illness doesn't show up on a scale. Bipolar? Sorting out a mental health concern takes professional diagnosis and treatment.
Anxiety. I thought so.
If you or a loved one has a mental health concern, don't go it alone. For 24-hour free and confidential information and treatment referral, call 1-800-662-HELP. Learn more at samhsa.gov/support. In a world of super dull son-in-laws and devious daughters,
I'm a bona fide superhero.
I know where she's coming from. I spent my whole life being riveting.
only Plaid Man gets the final word.
Where'd he go? Oh, that's his superpower. He can escape conversations in a single bound.
Last man standing.
Sophia Murphy reports at 6 and 11 on WZMQ 19 News.
Current temperatures a little bit cool out there. We're going to see these drop even more tomorrow night when we could also see that fog return. Those lows tomorrow night, 35 to 50 degrees. Fall is on the way. Mostly sunny on our Saturday looking ahead. Those temperatures in the evening also very chilly, about 45 to 55 degrees. And then Sunday, we'll expect some sunshine before we see those showers possibly returning. For our Friday in Marquette, mostly cloudy skies for the morning. 50 degrees is that high at 7 a.m. and then 59 by the end of the school day. Make sure you bundle that student up in the morning. Taking a look at Saturday for the farmers market in downtown Marquette at the Commons. It's going to be a little bit chilly out there again, but if you are done with that event, head on over to the Lower Harbor where we've got the UP Fall Beer Fest going on. A little bit warmer than we'll see at the farmers market, but another pleasant and polite event going on this weekend. Our 7-day outlook for Escanaba will expect those showers to possibly return on Sunday.
Finally tonight, a treat big enough to feed a city. The chefs at Chicago pastry company Eli's were at work constructing a 1,000-pound Eli's birthday cheesecake. It was all to celebrate the 43rd birthdays of Eli's Cheesecake and Taste of Chicago. Eli's pastry chefs climbed on ladders to place these baseball-sized cherries on top of a 6-foot-high original plain and chocolate chip cheesecake. It includes 450 pounds of cream cheese, 70 pounds of sugar, 50 pounds of sour cream, 125 pounds of cookie dough, and 25 pounds of graham crackers. And that's not even the full ingredient list. The giant confection will be cut at this year's Taste of Chicago this Saturday and be served free to the public.
You had me at cheesecake.
Yes.
Lost me at cherries.
Well, you could just scrape the cherries off.
What's your preferred topping for cheesecake?
Anything. I love cheesecake.
I love raspberry.
Yeah. So we're going to Chicago.
Yes,
on
obviously.
Saturday. Yeah. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Tonight, Bono takes the Colbert questionnaire, and from Ghosts, Rose McIver.
At the end of the interview, we find out I was dead all along.
Tonight on CBS.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve.